The woman was shocked when the pond by the road suddenly started boiling. While she was still confused, cracks appeared on the street and reached the feet of the traffic cop. 1 second later, a deep pit suddenly opened up and the cop fell right in. But the pit didn't stop there. It kept spreading quickly in all directions. People started running in fear, and Eve did the same. She stepped on the gas and tried to back up, but the road was too packed with cars. There was no way out. Eve had no choice but to get out of the car with her kids and run. But during the escape, her son got pushed over by the crowd and fell to the ground. Eve told her daughter to keep running and turned back to help her son. But after just a few steps, she saw the pit swallow him whole. After losing her son, Eve stayed in place with sadness. But the pit kept expanding, and by the time she reacted, it had already reached her. She tried to run, but it was too late. Right when she was about to fall into the pit, someone grabbed her hand. It was her daughter. She had come back, but her daughter was too weak to pull her up. As the pit kept growing, Eve realized that staying longer would only put her daughter in more danger. After a heartbreaking goodbye, she pulled her daughter's hand away and chose to fall into the pit. Eve kept falling, but instead of hitting the ground, she saw a glowing green light at the bottom. She fell straight into it. When she opened her eyes, she realized she was in a wild, unknown land, and the green light she came through was now floating in the sky. Eve didn't have time to think. Finding her son was the first priority. She tried to call him, but there was no signal. Although surprised, she didn't stop and began searching right away. Soon, she noticed smoke rising from the forest. She rushed toward it and was surprised to find a clearing filled with people who had also fallen into the pit. Her son was there too. The mother and son were both happy and relieved to see each other alive, but out of nowhere, a huge wolf appeared from the forest. Unlike normal wolves, this one was nearly 3 times the size. The wolf charged at them, and they had no choice but to run. It wasn't just them. More wild wolves ran into the clearing and started attacking the survivors. People began to run and hide. Some tried to fight back, but they were no match at all and were killed by the wolves. In the middle of the chaos, a hungry wolf knocked down Eve's son. Eve grabbed a rock and smashed the wolf down, but that only made the wolf even more aggressive. At the last second, a survivor shot the wolf. Eve and her son were saved. The rest of the wolves got scared and ran away. Eve realized her son had been bitten by the wolf. Thankfully, one of the survivors was a doctor and bandaged the wound. But without antibiotics and stitches, the doctor said her son wouldn't survive more than 2 days. But where could they find antibiotics now? Eve stopped to think, then suddenly remembered that an ambulance had also fallen into the pit. Ambulances usually carry all kinds of basic medicine. The doctor agreed to go search with her. Worried they might run into wild animals, they asked the man who had saved Eve to join them. Luckily, they didn't run into any danger and soon found the ambulance. The doctor climbed in, got the medicine, but then Eve noticed something chilling. A mountain in the distance looked exactly like the one pictured on the ambulance labeled Hollywood Hills. That meant they were still in Los Angeles. The doctor and the man couldn't believe it. While they were still trying to process everything, they heard a deep growl coming from the woods. Then, to their shock, a saber-toothed tiger, extinct for thousands of years, appeared right in front of them.